The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of old paper and forgotten dreams. The ancient library, a labyrinth of silent corridors and dusty shelves, was cloaked in an eerie twilight, the only light filtering through stained glass windows, casting dancing shadows across the worn stone floor. It was here, within the heart of this forgotten realm, that the unthinkable had occurred. A young, promising student, a life cut short in the prime of its intellectual vigor, was found lifeless, the body slumped against a towering bookshelf. The room, a solitary cell of knowledge, was sealed, a tomb of unanswered questions. Detective Jack Doyle, unaccustomed to the macabre, felt a shiver run down his spine as he stepped into the hushed chamber. The scene was stark, the victim's lifeless form a stark contrast to the vibrant life that once pulsed through their veins. A single, ancient tome lay open beside them, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and faded script. The room, a relic of bygone eras, was a study in contradictions. Modern technology, a sleek laptop and a tablet, lay scattered across a polished oak desk, juxtaposed against the antique furnishings and the archaic texts that lined the walls. It was as if two worlds had collided, the future and the past locked in a silent, deadly embrace. Doyle began his investigation, his keen eyes scanning the room for any clues, any anomaly that might shed light on the mystery. He traced the victim's final steps, retracing their path through the labyrinthine library, searching for any sign of struggle, any hint of a confrontation. As he delved deeper into the case, Doyle found himself drawn into a world of shadows and secrets. The university, once a bastion of knowledge and enlightenment, now seemed to harbor a darker side, a hidden history that threatened to unravel. He interviewed the victim's peers, a diverse group of brilliant minds, each with their own unique quirks and hidden agenda. There was the enigmatic Dr. Silas Crane, a brilliant physicist with a troubled past, and the enigmatic Professor Eleanor Ashcroft, a renowned literature scholar with a penchant for the occult. As Doyle pieced together the fragments of the puzzle, he realized that the murder was not a random act of violence, but a carefully orchestrated event, a sinister ritual steeped in ancient lore. The victim, it seemed, had stumbled upon a secret society, a group of individuals dedicated to unlocking the mysteries of the universe, no matter the cost. Professor Ashcroft, her eyes brimming with unshed tears, spoke of the young scholar's fascination with a particular book, the Compendium of Shadows. It was said to hold the key to unlocking the door between the living and the dead. The book had been missing from its shelf, only to be found in the victim's cold grasp. The detective's curiosity piqued. He decided to visit Dr. Crane in his cluttered office. The physicist's eyes darted around the room, as if searching for an escape from the unspoken accusations. His hands, trembling slightly, fidgeted with a silver locket that hung around his neck, a talisman against the unknown. The office was a stark contrast to the meticulously organized library. Papers and books were strewn about haphazardly, and a faint scent of something acrid hung in the air. Amidst the chaos, a single, framed photo stood out, a picture of the doctor with the victim, both of them smiling, a glimpse of a bond that had clearly soured. Their conversation was tense, a dance of words and unspoken accusations. Dr. Crane spoke in riddles, hinting at a discovery that could change the course of human understanding, a secret that could not be shared. His voice grew agitated, his eyes wild, as he spoke of forces that lay beyond the realm of science, forces that could not be contained. The walls of the office seemed to close in, the air thick with unspoken truths and the weight of unanswered questions. As Doyle pressed for details, the physicist slammed his fist on the desk, a silent acknowledgement of his own fear. The detective knew he was close to the heart of the mystery, but the path ahead was fraught with danger. Leaving the office, Doyle couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. The shadows grew longer as the sun dipped below the horizon, and the whispers of the library grew louder, as if the very books held the secrets he sought. His mind raced, piecing together the scattered threads of the case, each one leading him closer to a revelation that would shake the very foundations of the university. The night grew colder as he descended into the bowels of the library, the air thick with the scent of dust and decay. The hidden chambers revealed themselves one by one, each a silent witness to the dark rituals that had taken place within. The detective's heart pounded in his chest as he approached the final door, the one that held the answer to the silent study's grim secret. With a deep breath, he pushed it open, and the room beyond was bathed in a flickering, otherworldly light. The walls were lined with symbols and ancient texts, and at the center, a makeshift altar held the missing book, open to a page that spoke of a power that could never be wielded by mortal hands, In that moment, the pieces fell into place. The murder was not just a crime of passion or greed, but a sacrifice to some unspeakable force, a gateway to a realm of knowledge that should have remained closed. As the reality of the situation sank in, Doyle knew that he was no longer just solving a murder. He was fighting to save the soul of the university itself. The book before him pulsed with an eerie energy, and as he reached out to touch it, a sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut, trapping him inside the chamber. The room grew colder, the air thick with an ancient malevolence that seemed to coil around him like a serpent. Doyle's hand hovered over the book, the hairs on his arm standing on end. He could feel the whispers of the ancients, the echoes of a time when mankind was not the apex of creation, but a mere pawn in a game played by beings of unimaginable power. He heard a soft footstep behind him and turned to find Professor Ashcroft, her face a mask of determination, a knife gleaming in her hand. "You don't understand," she said, her voice strained. "This is for the greater good. The secrets within these pages cannot be allowed to die with us." The tension in the room was palpable, the air charged with the potential for violence. Doyle knew that he had to act fast if he wanted to survive this night and expose the truth. He took a step back, his eyes never leaving hers, his hand hovering over his own weapon, hidden beneath his jacket. "Professor," he said, his voice calm but firm, "put the knife down. We can talk about this." Ashcroft's grip tightened, her eyes flashing with a fervor that was both terrifying and fascinating. "You're too late, detective. The ritual has already begun. The compendium requires a sacrifice to reveal its secrets, and I am its keeper." Doyle's mind raced. He needed to disarm her, to save her from herself, but every move he made could be her last. The room felt smaller, the air thicker, as if the very walls were closing in on them. He took a deep breath, trying to keep his voice steady. "Eleanor, you don't have to do this. We can work together to find another way." But the professor's gaze was distant, lost in the whispers of the ancients. "There is no other way," she whispered. "The price for knowledge is always high." With a sudden burst of speed, she lunged at him, the knife glinting in the dim light. Doyle reacted instinctively, grabbing her wrist and twisting it away, the knife clattering to the floor. They struggled, their breaths mingling in the suffocating silence, their eyes locked in a battle of wills. As they grappled, the book on the altar began to tremble, the pages fluttering as if alive. The room grew colder still, and a faint, unearthly howling filled their ears. It was then that Doyle understood the true gravity of the situation. The door to the other realm was opening, and if they didn't act fast, it would be too late. Using all his strength, he shoved Professor Ashcroft aside and slammed the book shut, the ancient leather cover crackling with a sound like thunder. The howling ceased abruptly, the room plunging into an eerie silence. Panting, the detective picked up the knife, the weight of it feeling both reassuring and ominous in his hand. He knew he had to get her out of here, to bring her back to reality before the madness consumed her entirely. But as he turned to face her, she was gone, vanished into the shadows as if she had never been there at all. The only evidence of her presence was the cold, empty space where she had stood, and the faint scent of the incense that had accompanied the ritual. The room felt alive with the echoes of ancient power, the very air charged with potential. Doyle knew that this was just the beginning of a much larger battle, one that would take him far beyond the confines of the library and into the very heart of the university's dark secrets. And as he stepped back into the corridor, the Book of Shadows under his arm, he could feel the eyes of the ancients watching him, waiting for their next move in this game of knowledge and power. The silent study had given up its secret, but the real mystery was just beginning. Doyle's steps echoed through the library, the once quiet bastion of learning now a battleground of shadows and whispers. The whispers grew louder, a cacophony of voices from the pages of forgotten tomes, urging him on, hinting at the depth of the conspiracy he had uncovered. He knew that the key to solving this case lay in the pages of the compendium. He had to understand its dark allure, the power that had driven Professor Ashcroft to such a heinous act. The book was a Pandora's box, and he had unwittingly set its contents free. Back in the safety of his own office, Doyle studied the book under the harsh glow of a desk lamp. The pages were ancient, the ink faded with time, but the power they contained was palpable. As he read, he felt his mind expanding, stretching to grasp the arcane concepts within. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, until they were almost a roar. The walls of his office seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, and he knew that he was not alone. The shadows grew longer, reaching out to him, and the air grew colder. The detective felt a sudden chill run down his spine as the book slipped from his grasp, landing open to a page with a symbol that seemed to stare back at him, a gateway to a realm of darkness and wisdom. He knew that he had to close this door before it was too late. With trembling hands, he reached for the phone, dialing the number of an old friend, a professor of ancient languages who might be able to help him decipher the book's secrets without falling prey to its allure. As he waited for an answer, the whispers grew fainter, retreating back into the shadows from whence they came. The silence was almost deafening, a stark reminder of the gravity of his discovery. The line connected, and he heard the professor's sleepy voice, the sound of pages rustling as he was roused from his slumber. "Jack, what is it?" Doyle took a deep breath, his eyes never leaving the symbol that seemed to pulse with an unnatural life of its own. "I need your help," he said. "We've opened something we shouldn't have." And with those words, he knew that their world was about to change forever, as the secrets of the compendium began to unravel before them, leading them down a path that would challenge their very understanding of reality and the nature of existence itself. The professor's voice grew serious, the sleep gone from his tone. "Send me what you have, Jack. We must act quickly." Doyle nodded, though he knew his friend couldn't see him. "I'll be there soon," he said, already gathering his things. "We're in this together." As he left the library, the darkness of the night seemed to close in around him, the shadows whispering of the ancient forces that had been disturbed. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the very fabric of the world was bracing for what was to come. The detective's mind raced with the implications of their discovery. If the compendium's secrets were as powerful as they believed, then the murder was only the beginning. They were about to step into a world where the line between fact and fiction blurred, where the pursuit of knowledge could be a path to either enlightenment or damnation. The wind picked up as he approached his car, the rustling of the trees sounding like the pages of the book, beckoning him back. But he knew he couldn't look back. Not now. The battle for the soul of the university had begun, and he was the only one who could stop it from spiraling into chaos. The engine roared to life, the headlights piercing the darkness as he drove away from the silent library. The road ahead was long and fraught with danger, but Jack Doyle was a man who had faced the impossible before. And as he disappeared into the night, the whispers of the ancients grew faint, the echoes of their power fading into the shadows. But they had not disappeared entirely. They were merely biding their time, waiting for the next opportunity to reclaim their lost knowledge and wield it in a world unprepared for its return. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing to stay updated with our latest stories. Give us a like if you want to see more, and drop a comment below to let us know your thoughts.